What's up YouTube, this is Harvey 1997 here, coming at you today with a discussion regarding the Link Strike starter deck coming in about mid-July to the TCG. So, I'm going to use this kind of like as a time to compare this starter deck to previous starter decks and how it's like what its viability is in today's meta. Both for incoming players, like new players, people coming back into the game, as well as dedicated meta players. Alright, so, it should be noted that it is identical to the OCG list with the exception of 2 cards, which I will get to those when they come up. This deck did a very, very good job at appealing to both the competitive and the non-competitive scenes of this game, giving a lot of good staple cards and just a lot of things that are just nice to have. So, we can start off with the monsters. The new things, I'm not even gonna bother going over those, because more than anything I'm focusing on like the reprints and all. But because like the new monsters are cool, but they're really I don't know how to explain. I think they're going to be relevant in any kind of gameplay only when the Cyberse structure deck comes out or more support for them comes out. Until then, don't really worry about those. But yeah, so we can go on to the monsters. Cyber Dragon's always a decent print. Photon Thrasher, that's good. Exarion Universe, I didn't think anything of this when I first saw it, but for those who are trying to get into GOAT, probably realize the Exarion Universe, like, no matter what printing of it, it's gonna be like the $1 or $2, like, minimum. Like, I was trying to pick up a couple copies for a GOAT Control tournament in my card shop a few months back, and I wound up having to spend $4 to get 2 of them, and it's like, sure, it's not a lot of money, but it's something nice to have. So Sangan getting his new errata, okay. The 2 that I think are actually like really good for this are Curry Bandit and Effect Veiler. Those are just really good prints to have, in my opinion. Things that everyone should have a couple copies of, just kind of waiting in reserve. Then you go on to the spells. OCG got Monster Reborn. It's banned here, so we get Monster Reincarnation. Yeah, not quite the same thing there, but moving on. Dark Hole, always something to kind of have. Mystical Space Typhoon's always good. Book of Moon, Forbidden Lance. I guess I should note, pretty much all the spells and traps are really good prints in here. Forbidden Lance, United We Stand's kind of iffy, but I know a lot of casual players love that card, so they'll be happy to see it. Pot of Duality's always good. Burden of the Mighty, not so much, but again, that's more of a casual card. And Supply Squad, always, good, because we've only had the 1 printing as far as I know. And Terraforming, you can never have too many Terraformings laying around. That card, as long as it's legal, will always be relevant. And that's it for the spells, and they're pretty good. And then we go on to the traps. Guess I should know, OCG had another spell on their list, being Pot of Avarice. We don't have that, though. So instead, they replaced it with Jar of Avarice. But I'm perfectly okay with that. I think that's another great reprint. Continuing on, traps, we got Call of the Haunted, always good to have. Mirror Force, Torrential Tribute, Ring of Destruction, Bottomless Trap Hole, Compulsory Evacuation Device, Fiendish Chain, and Dark Bribe. Now, again, for the super competitive player, and these aren't going to be, like, desperately needed or anything, but these are all really good, just like generic staple cards that like any deck can run. This is a great way for someone coming into the game or getting back into the game to start like building up their staples again, or for the first time rather. Then we go on to the Link monsters. They are Decode Talker, Honeybot, and Link Spider. And it looks like Honeybot and Link Spider are also going to be commons, I'm guessing, because it labels Decode Talker as an ultra rare, and it labels another card, like Link Slayer, as an ultra rare, but it doesn't say anything about supers or commons or anything like that. Maybe they just can't tell supers from the picture, I don't know. But yeah, overall, I think it's a very good starter deck. Now, if we look back on years prior, let's go back. We could go back really, really far, but let's just stick with Arc 5 for the time being. The most recent one before now was starter deck Yuya. We got Perform Power King Bear, okay, Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, already got him in the 10 the year before. Archfiend Eccentric was a good print, but that was about it. Then we can move on to the Yuya versus Declan, or Akaba Reggie, rather, if you're into the sub like I am. Wasn't anything in those starter decks. Like, those were awful. I will be honest, I bought a couple of them to try and teach my girlfriend how to play. And yeah, that was really all they were good for, though. They past like teaching very basic how to play, those things suck. And I mean, even against each other, they suck. But okay, moving on. Not trying to rip that one a new asshole. Let's just move on to the year before. Time Space Showdown. What did we get? We got Supply Squad. That's in this one. Got Stargazer and Time Gazer. There wasn't a whole lot in that deck either, in all honesty. I mean, there was a couple of decent things, but nothing too overwhelming. It was basically, I don't know. If I remember correctly, they gave us, like, Jar of Greed, I think. I don't know. It was just a very odd starter deck. You go back to Zexal the year before that, we got that one with, like, the Utopia Rays, which is decent, but it wasn't anything special either. The year before that, it was another Utopia Ray deck. The year before that, Utopia, which obviously that one was huge because getting Utopia was, you know, detrimental to the competitive scene. But go back before that, we got Junk Destroyer and Road Warrior, Junk Warrior. Notice the common theme. None of these have ever really been filled with too many, like, generically, like, good cards, like staples per se. You know, I do realize that I wouldn't necessarily call these the best kind of staple cards. Obviously, they're no Ash Blossoms or Ghost Ogres or anything like that, but every incoming player needs a copy of Mirror Force, if not just to have at the ready. Everyone needs a playset of Mystical Space Typhoons, and then eventually they can upgrade to, like, Twin Twisters or Cosmic Cyclones or something, but you just need those good cards when you can start playing. And for those who want to invest in this, for the Link monsters, Decode Talker, Honeybot, and Link Spider, which are all very necessary in the metagame, or will be at some point or another, there's a lot of good resale value here. If you can just get someone to give you, like, $1 or 50 cents or something like that for the staple cards, like each of those, you can fairly easily make your money back, or at least a majority of it, and then wind up have only spent like $2 or $3 on, you know, like your Decode Talker and your Honeybot and Link Spider. Obviously, my plan is, in all honesty, to buy 3 copies of this, then just kind of stock up on a majority of these things. If I find someone who needs any of these staples, I'm more than happy to part with them. But I mean, for the most part, I think these are all things that are just good to have, good to hold on to. Things like, you know, Burden of the Mighty, not so much. But, like, just having a couple of extra copies of Jar of Avarice, Duality, you know, it's just a great starter deck, in my opinion. You guys, tell me in the comment section below what you think about this starter deck. I don't remember if I said this earlier in the video, but I don't remember the exact release date. It's somewhere around the middle of July. I want to say it's July 20th, but I'm not completely certain on that. Anyway, you guys tell me in the comment section below what you think about this deck and the oncoming Link Master rules. So, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button as always, and subscribe for all my future content, and I'll catch you in my next video.